story. No one ever agrees with me, but I swear when I think about it,
She said no one ever agrees with her. Let's find out why that is.
when I think about it, I'm right. So when I first moved to Atlanta, I didn't know anybody, and I joined Bumble and matched with this guy, right? We had been talking, I think, for like 2 or 3 weeks, and I got a good vibe. So anyway, I had asked him if he knew any handy people because I had a lot of like furniture coming into my apartment, and I needed help putting it together. Although I did not know him well enough, I trusted him enough to come to my apartment. Now, in hindsight, that was probably a bad idea, but it is what I did. So before he came to my apartment, I had a conversation with him about payment because I didn't want for him to come and I didn't like him and then he felt like he got. So we talked about payment and I told him I'd give him a certain amount for him putting together like 2 pieces of furniture. Well, he put together a bed and a desk. So I don't remember exactly how much.
Okay, that's fair. She said that she's gonna pay this man for putting together this furniture for her. Okay, cool. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I don't remember exactly how much we agreed on,
She's lying. She know. She remember.
but I did say I was gonna sell him the money. So when he came over like early the Saturday morning and he ended up like starting right away. He was definitely somebody that I could see myself talking to on the long haul. So it was cool. Like he was putting this, we were getting to know each other. We were talking about family. We were talking about life, all this kind of stuff. So around lunchtime, I ordered us something to eat. And as we were eating, we were like really talking, right? It was good. So when he was done, he kind of like chilled for like another couple of hours just to like rest. And we were really vibing. And he was like, I would really like to see you again. And I was like, cool.
All right, sound like it's going good. They're really vibing.
So when he's ready to go, we go outside and he gives me a hug. And then he's like, okay, so I'm going to text you my Zelle information so you can send the payment. And I'm like, okay. In the moment, I was just a little shocked, but I didn't like let it on. I was just like, okay, just text it to me. So the next day,
Shocked? What's she shocked about? What? They already made an agreement that she was gonna pay him for putting together this bed and desk for her. Now she's shocked. Now she wanna switch it up and act funky. When he asked for the money that you agreed that you were gonna give him for the work that he did. Strange.
it to me. So the next day I sent the Zelle payment and I was just like, oh, thank you for coming over. I really appreciate it. And then I didn't say anything else. And he was texting me and I did not respond. And he wasn't used to that because obviously we have been like texting all day long, you know, talking throughout the day. It was good at that time. But
Oh my God. Ladies, for those of you that disagree with her, guess what? I'm going to tell you right now, as a man, majority of the women that we come across think like her, act like her, move like her. Ruin things for y'all is what they do. Because what?
then I just decided that the fact of him asking me for money after like we had a good day and I do understand that we agreed upon it, but I just thought it would be different since we were going to start dating. So
That's what I'm talking about. So she made it perfectly clear. She said early on in the video, she said that if she did not vibe with the guy, that she would have been perfectly okay giving him the money for the job that he did. But now because she vibed with him, that she is not okay, that makes no sense at all. If anything, it should be because you vibe with him, you want to give him even more money. You should want to give him a big fat tip on top of that. If it was the opposite, right? If I had a woman come over to help me, right? I had met her on a dating app or whatever. She comes over and helps me with whatever it is that I may need. That a woman can do better than I can. And we agree on the price. Regardless of whether or not we vibe, I'm going to pay her. And if we vibe, I might pay her more. And then we going to start dating. Everything going to be peachy. But women, though, what? I'm saying women. I'm generalizing. But I'm generalizing for a reason. Because majority of the females underneath the comment of her video agreed. And best believe, almost all the men disagreed. We have a problem in this dating culture. If you got women on this side of the spectrum that operate, their minds work and think like this, and then you got men on the other side and it's completely different, them two can't come together and make something work in holy matrimony.
Since we were going to start dating. So finally he asked me like, what's up? And I was just like, honestly, I know we decided that I would pay you for that, but I really thought it was tacky that you actually asked me for the money afterwards and you took it.
What? Woman, it's tacky that you have an issue with giving him the money that you agreed on giving him. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, repeating myself. This is ridiculous.
I thought it was tacky that you actually asked me for the money afterwards and you took it. So I did end up cutting it off and we didn't talk again. But when I told my cousin about it, she was like, you guys agreed on it. Like, I don't understand what.
You see, her cousin is one of them few females that felt that she was in the wrong.
What the problem was. And honestly, like, if I'm gonna date you and you put together some furniture for me, you're gonna charge me? I don't know, like, what do you guys think? What?
I'm gonna tell you what I think as a man. As a man, I feel as though you should have told him up front what your whole idea was around paying him for this service that y'all agreed upon. You should have said, hey, look, I've decided that if you and I vibe, I don't want to pay you. But if you and I don't vibe, then I'll be perfectly okay with paying you. How stupid did that just sound coming out of my mouth just now? Real dumb, right? When you say it out loud to someone, it sounds real stupid and make you look bad. Because if someone is expecting to receive some money for a job well done, regardless of a vibe, which is nothing but a feeling or emotion, regardless of that, they're going to still want to get their money. You blocked your blessing. This is also how I feel. I feel as though you blocked your blessing because however much you paid him, you would have received that back from him tenfold later on throughout the duration of the relationship. Rather, it came from him taking you out, whining and dining you, or taking you on trips, or supporting you financially. Whatever it may have been, you just blocked your blessing. Woman, this man sat there and told you that he was family oriented. He's probably career oriented. He can do stuff with his hands, which is already rare to find in a man. I can tell you about some men that don't know how to change a tire on the car. They'll sit there and let their girl do it instead. Oh, I got a story, but I'll say that for another time. It's so rare to find a man that had the qualities that he showed you up front, things that you were vibing with. But this is how you want to act. You blocked your blessing. And unfortunately, there's so many other women out here that overlook good guys all day because they got something weird going on up here.
Ladies, what would you do in this case? I just saw a video of a woman who is perplexed. Okay, she's in the Atlanta area and unfortunately she doesn't have her duets or stitches on, but there's a video floating around where she describes, her moving to town for the first time and she met somebody and she was trying to find someone to help her put together furniture. Okay, so a man came into her life. He actually wanted to date her and take her out and stuff, so he offered to come help her put together a couple of pieces of furniture in her new apartment. To make sure she was being fair, they did talk about a cost for doing that, and she agreed to pay him because obviously if she decides she doesn't want to date this man, she doesn't want it to be weird or anything like that. So they talked about a cost. He comes over on Saturday morning. He starts putting together everything. He's spending the entire day there. So they're talking and vibing and hanging out. And, he's putting together her furniture and they're really like getting to know each other and sort of building a connection in a really interesting way, right? That doesn't involve a restaurant or a crowded area. It's just, an intimate setting and in her home. And lunchtime rolls around and she orders lunch for them and they talk. And then when he's done with his job, he stays for a few more hours and he hangs out with her and again, getting to know each other. And he asks her, to see her again. So then before he leaves, right, he's like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to send you my phone number for that Zelle so you can send me the payment. So she gets his information and she sends him the money like she promised. And then she basically ghosted him. When he finally was, wanting some answers to say, hey, like what happened? She just explained to him, about that, they were going to possibly start dating and it felt weird for her to pay. Now, a lot of people are coming down on her saying, she was wrong. She agreed to pay him. She should pay him for the services and things like that. I don't think this is a case of right or wrong. Okay. It's just reality. The moment that that woman sent him that Zelle for the payment, she was instantly turned off. Okay. Because this.
See, that's and that right there is a woman's issue. That's not an issue with the man. That has nothing to do with the man. That has everything to do with the issues that the woman is harboring within herself. Turned off. You should have never said that you was going to give him any money then in the first place. If the possibility of giving him money and you like him turns you off. What kind of mess? Ooh. Passport bros. Become one.
Someone that she was looking to date, and this was sort of like a first opportunity for him to maybe just do something nice for her. They had spent a whole day together and spent a lot of time together and things like that. She bought him lunch, and to then send him and pay him for way beyond the hours. Okay, so she paid for a service, but this man was at her house all day.
I don't like that. I don't like when people try to twist stories, right? Nowhere in that woman's video did she say that she paid him way beyond the hours that he was there for. She paid him for the service that he did, for however, I don't even know if it was for a certain amount of time. It might have just been a set amount that they agreed upon for the job that was done. It could have been like $200-300, right? To put a desk and a bed together. Nowhere did that woman state that she paid him for hanging out with her for hours after the service was done. Don't do that.
Okay, because they stayed for hours. She fed him lunch. They were talking and vibing. And then it's like, oh, by the way, I'm going to send you money. It just simply feels weird, okay, at that point. And so no matter what he says, no matter what people think is right or wrong, basically the masculine feminine dynamic in that connection just totally went down the toilet.
Exactly. And whose fault was it? The woman. The masculine and femininity dynamic was shifted. It was off. They don't know how to be traditional. These women don't know how to be traditional. So when they attempt to be traditional, it shows up like this. Oh, wait, a man is supposed to provide for me and do for me. He should have done that job for free. But what? But had it been an actual handyman came, you would have paid him. It was a handyman to hire. You would have paid him. This man could get the job done, so you have an issue paying him because you like him? Women's math don't be adding up, I swear.
Okay, because not that she was expecting him to do anything for free, but I think it was because the connection escalated during the course of the day. It just now feels weird that it's like, oh yeah, I spent, 3 of the hours or however long it took him putting together stuff. And then I spent another 5 hours just chilling and hanging out with you. And then I still have to pay you. And by the way, we're going to go on another date and we're going to hang out. It is weird. And unfortunately, it crossed and blurred way too many lines to where now it's like, do I treat you as a general contractor or do I treat you as a potential person that I'm dating?
That's not a question that anyone should have to even question themselves about. Do I treat you as a general contractor or do I treat you as somebody like I'm dating? Duh. You treat that person like someone that you're dating. All they did was a job for you. They're not a contractor. They were just a capable person. This is women's math right here, right? And other women in the comments was trying to justify this whole ordeal as well using women's math to make what she's saying sound right. Like it makes the most sense when it still doesn't at all. Do I treat you like a general contractor? No.
And I know if the tables were turned, it would be the same. So like, for example, if a man came into a woman's life and she performed a service for him, let's say she cut his hair or something, and then they decide to date, right? Would he be expected to pay for that haircut? Would it be weird?
Yes, he would. Yeah, he would. No. If you gonna say this, really put yourself in that position. You would be upset if the man didn't pay you for the haircut.
if he said, well, we're going to date, so I don't really pay for it. So I totally get what everybody's saying, but I do think in this particular case, it's more of a...
Even if it's somebody that you're dating, as a lot of y'all know, during my birthday, I was sick. I was sick for a good 2 weeks. Towards the last leg of it, I had somebody come over, someone that I had been dating, right? Somebody come over to my house and straighten up. She was more than happy to come do it. She would have done it for free. I let my place get a mess because I was also traveling the 2 months prior. Before that, I had been traveling every weekend, and then right at the end of that, I had got sick. She came over, she was cleaning up my house. She came over for about 2 or 3 days and cleaned up. I paid her each one of those days. Had no issue with paying her. She helped me tremendously. This is somebody that I'm dating. I showed her this video of these women talking. She disagrees with them.
Biological thing where suddenly she doesn't view him in this providership way. She doesn't view him in a masculine way. Biological thing, particular case, it's more of a, you know, would it be weird if he said, well, we're going to date, so I don't really pay for it. So I totally get what everybody's saying, but I do think in this particular case, it's more of a biological thing where suddenly she doesn't view him in this providership way. She doesn't view him in a masculine way.
Trying to be traditional when you're not. See how well it's not working for her or them?
And she just became turned off. Okay, now granted, she did pay because everyone's like, she should pay, she should have paid. No, she, you know, but she has a right to ghost the guy. I stand with her on this just because if she's feeling weird about it, then
I wonder if she's as single as the other chick was. I bet you she is.
she should not stay in that relationship because it's going to be a headache for both of them.
That's her ring finger, right? I don't see a ring on it.
And if she's turned off in an intimate way, in a physical way, it's not going to be good for him. So I do think she made the right choice, regardless of what people think is right or wrong, to leave the relationship and not force herself to be in a dynamic with him where she has to try to jump through hoops to feel feminine.
That woman shouldn't have to feel the need to jump through hoops in order to feel feminine. That man didn't do a darn thing to make her feel less feminine. She did that all on her own. But maybe I'm wrong. Leave your thoughts, comments, and opinions down below. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.